Hey guys, and welcome to the Yankee and Canuck podcast. Here we're going to be talking about a film from Star Wars Theory, Vader, Episode 2, Echoes of the Jedi.
7 years later, we get the episode 2.
Yeah, it took him a while.
Yeah. That's okay. I mean, it is what it is, but quite an improvement, I thought, from the first one.
I agree. Yeah, the production value is crazy in this one.
It looked fantastic, right? The animation, the sound, the feel. I mean, it was like almost like a really cool episode of a Star Wars show or a video game, right? Like a cutscene or something, but with more substance.
Yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty good, especially when it comes to fan created anything.
Yeah.
Usually, when it comes to fan creations of popular works, they tend to be a little bit on the, I don't know how to say it. It's like it's either too much of an expository dump in the dialogue, or they do too many cool angles for fight scenes. Like they overdo it, in other words. Whereas this one actually had a structure. There was more of a narrative structure to it. There was more of a clear, cohesive director's vision from beginning to end. So it felt more professional as a result because of these specific choices that he made.
Yeah. Balanced in the Force, would you say?
Yeah, as balanced as you can make it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, you could see the hard work and all the thought put into it. I mean, are there issues with it? For sure. I mean, yeah, I think so. Just like any art, I have my critique, and everyone's entitled to their opinions and all, but definitely a lot of cool stuff with it. Man, I think he's done a lot of cool things in the Star Wars space, and so have a lot of other creators on YouTube. I've seen a lot of fan films of Star Wars fan films, and some of them are really good. I do agree with what you're saying, though. Sometimes it's like there's way too much exposition, or it's just like or it's over complicated, and they kind of
Yeah.
deviate from maybe what Star Wars should be about. I don't know, but either way, there's a lot of good content out there, and um, so I give him a lot of credit though for this, and clearly he cares about Star Wars, and that's why he's doing this, and he wanted to make content like this, and he's doing it. So
It's all self funded, right?
yeah, I think I definitely self-funded. I think he's used the Star Wars lightsaber business he has to help fund for this project
I would
as
figure,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, he started that company, I think, a couple of years back. I think it's doing very well. From what I've seen, people really like the products, and he does. I've seen some of the designs that they're pretty dope looking, and he even had Roger Christian's work on one, and he brought a lot of ones I don't think even Disney has at Disney World or Disneyland or whatever. So, like, you could tell like this is really made by Star Wars fans, and so that being said, I don't think I'm going to buy one. I'm a little too old to be buying spending money on things like
I'm
that.
trying to get rid of stuff in my house. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't really buy things anymore. And mostly, yeah, you want to get rid of stuff, or if I buy something, it's like a book or a video game or something. I use my money to go out to eat somewhere at a nice place or something, but I don't really buy toys. But if I were to buy a lightsaber, honestly, I would probably buy one from Theory Sabers. Not just saying that, just because there's, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 different types of lightsabers. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I thought this is, something made by a fan, for the fans. And I think it's really cool. And so props to him and the animators, the musicians, the team involved. I honestly, I'm not just saying this, and I'm not just saying it because he's Canadian, but Theory. I honestly felt a bit of a George Lucas approach in this, right? I see a little bit of the George Lucas influence, which isn't surprising since Theory's a huge Lucas fan. Which also, to be fair, also comes with its pros and cons. so,
Oh yeah.
so maybe some of the complaints I have is because of that approach. But either way, this was a massive improvement from Vader 1, which, if I recall, he actually mentioned recently that he's going to remake Vader 1, Shards of what was it called? Shards of the Past? I think it was called Shards of the Past.
Shards of the Past, yes.
So once he does 2 and 3, I think 3 he said will be out in about a year. Then he's going to remake the first one, so it's kind of in sync. So that's a good sign. I mean, it shows growth and dedication, and I can appreciate that, right? So
He's gonna CGI over the puppets? No! How dare you do a special edition Theory? You better not do that. It's about being pure, man. You got to stick to your guns. You have to work with what you had. Not. I mean, no. I mean, I agree with that.
You gotta have it cohesive. It's got to be cohesive.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, because when you see the first episode, from what I can recall, it's been a little while since I've seen it. It looked pretty jank. It didn't visually look very good. So I understand the impulse of like, I have the tech and I have the money now. Let's just remake this whole thing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
smart. It's a good smart
no, because
decision.
visually speaking, that's like pretty much the best thing about this. It looks really good. It looks like a really cool cutscene for a video game. And I think I may have mentioned this in our
Yeah,
last video when we were talking about the trailer or something.
yeah.
Yeah, and it still looks like a really cool video game cutscene for the
And we
most
mean that
part.
in a good way too, like because that could kind of come across as we're diminishing it in some regard, but we mean that in a good way. It's a good cutscene with substance too, right?
Yeah, it looks like a
So
modern video game cutscene, not a PS2 cutscene. It looks pretty good.
yeah. Um, but man, I gotta say, I like how violent and forward and direct the Jedi were in it. Almost like they were tapping into the dark side a bit, just to get right into it. And Mace Windu, of course, that shouldn't be surprising, right? But we know how he operates, but even the other characters, which we can talk about in a moment, I don't know any of their names. I don't remember, but I mean the brutality of it, right? I mean, usually the Jedi have a certain level of grace and but clearly they're affected by Order 66 near extinction, so understandably they're not operating under the same conditions and that level of grace, and so I can imagine they would operate differently in that regard. And I mean, it's more like action first, questions later type of thing, right? So they
Yeah.
all got targets on their back. So, but
Because what was the plot again? So the troopers come in, they infiltrate this Jedi temple, they're looking for something. Then the Jedi come out, they're all fighting and stuff, and then Vader's kind of like walking around. And then that's when you finally get to this culmination of Vader coming in. He wrecks one of the Jedi. He seems like he's the leader or something. And they're about to get cornered and slaughtered. And then that's when Mace Windu comes out at the end. And there's this
yeah,
big showdown between Windu and Vader. That's the gist of it, correct?
yeah. So actually, almost. So I initially watching this, I thought, man, where's the plot at? It's definitely thin
Yeah,
initially.
that's what I mean.
The problem is here's I'll tell you what happens. I was like thinking in my head, I would have liked it if there was like a stronger purpose or objective. They're on Naboo. They're actually in a crypt. They're in Queen Amidala's crypt. And so it's like, why is Mace Windu there? Is he investigating?
Oh,
Is he
really?
trying to
I
lure?
didn't realize any of that.
Yeah. He's trying to lure Vader, maybe. So that's in my mind. I was thinking that, and then what I did was I rewatched Vader episode one because it'd been many years since I'd seen it, and in that, at the end, it tells you, explains everything. Because Sidious instructs Vader to go there and root out the Jedi there, and says that there is someone with a purple lightsaber over there, obviously Mace
I
Windu.
see.
So it is actually explained in Vader 1. I just forgot to watch it before Vader 2, so I was
Yes,
like, wait a minute.
it's really required for you to watch episode 1 again before
You should,
watching episode
definitely.
2. Yeah, because otherwise you'll be a little bit lost, like I kind of was.
Yeah. That's what
Yep.
I was thinking too. And then I was like, let me rewatch it because I think they must have touched on something in the first one that why we're here, I mean,
But the first
so
episode was also a big exposition dump. It goes into what I was saying for most fan films. It's like they give you a ton of information, but I kind of glaze over it because it's just like it's like being at a lecture in college and being told a bunch of stuff and it's important, but because of the way it's explained to you, you kind of doze off and you just put your mind elsewhere because it's not that riveting to hear.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's probably another reason why I don't remember. That was the driving reason why Vader's in this particular place and why stuff happens. But
Yeah.
honestly, the visual storytelling in episode 2 is way better because unlike 1, which I remember very little, I remember primarily Vader talking to Palpatine at the end, right? They're in the they're in the
Actually,
sto-
even in the very beginning, it's like kind of he tries to kill the Emperor, and I can't remember if it's actually a dream sequence or something, and
I remember him
it's a little
talking to
weird, but
I remember him talking to Palpatine, but that's all I remember from the first one. This one I can
yeah.
recall more
He's trying to
stuff.
kill him in the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember, but in episode 2, I remember way more stuff happening because visually the storytelling is way better.
Yeah.
It guides you way better
Yeah.
in terms of like one of the main important things about doing anything in the visual medium is, of course, the actual visuals themselves. If you're able to turn off the sound and just watch the pictures as they go, and you can get a good idea what's happening just through the visuals, then you nailed it as a storyteller. And with the episode 2, Theory nailed it as a storyteller. Like he got a lot better with visual
Yeah.
storytelling.
100%.
Yeah. So episode 3, when that appears, I feel like that would probably be maybe better, on par or even better than this one. Because
Yeah,
you only get better the more you work on things. So
yeah, yeah. That's true.
yeah, but that being said, though, I mean, the visual quality, the visual storytelling, all that stuff's great. The sound design's amazing. The voice acting is pretty good for the most part.
Yeah,
My biggest complaint, really, honestly, it's like we already touched on the plot. The characters, other than the main, characters that we know already, I'm not a big fan. Like, I don't know these characters, so even when the action
yeah,
stuff happens, and it's cool action choreography and stuff like that, but who are these people? Why do I care if they live or they die? You know, if you don't give me a basic reason why I should care, then I kind of tune out. And I'm just like, oh, flashy lightsaber work, that's cool.
yeah. That's the thing. It is leaning on the fact that they're Jedi and you're supposed to care or something, but it's like these characters weren't exactly the most interesting. It's a short amount of time. You can't flesh them out, to be fair, but it's an introduction. But I think that one master, and I'm assuming it's his apprentice, they were the ones with the most lines and focus, right? And none of it was really particularly interesting, and that's
Nope.
okay. I mean, there's a bunch of Jedi. Honestly, a lot of Jedi are like
I
that.
don't think it's
We don't
okay,
know.
but
I mean, it's not okay, but like in terms of we don't need to know all the Jedi at a level like we know the Jedi Council and the famous ones, just because there were thousands of Jedi, and after 66, there was probably 100 or more, and eventually captured and killed by Vader and bounty hunters. But so I didn't really feel any connection to these ones because we don't bloody know them, right? So
yeah, I
but
mean,
but this is part 2 of 3, so this works as their introduction, I guess. But we'll have to see what happens next. Of course, I don't think they're gonna last very long in the episode 3. So
it's just like when
we
we
got to
did
start somewhere. But,
it's like when we did the Alkalite review back in the day on the channel.
oh no,
Yeah, I know. You know that banger, that wonderful show that's not going to get a season 2. Thank God. I mean, oh, what
yeah,
a tragedy! The problem with that show was the characters. You didn't care,
yeah,
and not to say that theories handling with characters is that bad. It's not, but it's just in
yeah,
the sense of like there's not enough there for us to be intrigued enough beyond. Hey, they're Jedi. They are good guys. Therefore, you care. Then why don't I
yeah,
care about Rey? Why don't I care about all these other characters? But because it's a little bit more than that, right?
yeah.
So that's why it's a little bit hard. It's a 21-minute episode, more or less, right?
21 minutes and 21 seconds, I think. Yeah,
There's a lot of room within that runtime to be able to properly introduce the characters and give us reasons to care about them. But from what I recall, other than the action sequences, there's a lot of clone trooper stuff in there.
a lot of troopers. Yeah,
Yeah.
first half of it. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm like, they're kind of like, to humanize them a little bit or to give them a little bit more intrigue. That's interesting. I like that. But you spend a little bit more time on essentially what are disposable characters.
yeah,
Whereas you could have
yeah.
used some of that time on the Jedi.
True. Yeah,
But here's the thing, the Jedi were purely used as a device to have a big action sequence and to hold back the real star of the whole thing, Mace Windu.
yeah. I mean,
That's
it's
all
all
it
about
was.
Vader and Mace, anyways. Let's be honest, right? So,
It was all fodder to build up to that reveal. And typically these reveals happen at the tail end of an episode or a movie or whatever it is.
yeah,
So in this case, it's more like an episodic series. So yeah, towards the end of an episode, you would have a reveal be like, stay tuned to next week, folks, for the big battle between Vader and Mace Windu. But I'm all
yes,
like, in this case, it'll be a year or two, whatever it's going to be. But it's like, I get the idea of the format. I think it was a bad idea to do it this way.
Mhm.
Keep the Windu reveal. That's cool. I thought that was cool. But
Yeah,
give more time to the Jedi, a little less time to the clone troopers,
yeah.
and I think it would have been a little bit better.
Yeah. Troopers were cool. I mean, the voice acting was spot on
It
for the
was great.
troopers.
Don't get
The
me wrong.
dialogue of the troopers is exactly what you'd expect from the troopers. So, like what you're used to from the prequels, from the shows, Clone Wars, and everything, it was spot on. But I totally agree. There was too much focus on it, and you lose up a lot of time.
Yeah,
Going back to the length, I think if you had 5 or 10 minutes more, then you could maybe make it work a little bit better. But
I
because
disagree.
it's 21 minutes, you have the first half with the troopers dragging a little bit too long, so that kind of
I don't
affects
think
the whole thing.
I don't think it needs to be longer. I think you need to take time away from the clone troopers.
Yeah,
Yeah, but even then, the problem with
one or
doing
the other.
that though is like, well, the whole shock reveal of them being Jedi being, there, that because that was a surprise reveal too. Well, then you
Yes.
also diminish that surprise as well. So I don't know. I feel like that this sort of thing should have been revealed in the first episode, led in with the Jedi crew. I don't know. It depends on what theory's intentions were. It feels like to me that the whole it's called Vader, for God's sake. So of course it's going
Yeah.
to be more centered about Vader and his side of the coalition, the Empire.
Right.
So having it focus on Jedi all of a sudden would just be a little disjointed. So I feel like that's why he went this direction. But again, as a result, it's like, well, then it's just like stuff happens, but then there's no emotional connection. Unless you want to make
Yeah.
more of an emotional connection with the clone troopers, then you could have done that. And then the Jedi are just like the antagonists per se, like in the perspective of this show, because that means the clone
Yeah.
troopers are the protagonists and they're the antagonists. So they got a little bit of a different dynamic going on. That could have been interesting, and maybe that's what he was trying to do. It didn't come across that way to me as the battle progressed. It's like the
Yeah.
viewpoint shifted.
Yeah, that's fair. It's also a bit weird to see so many Jedi together post Order 66. I mean, then again, they would group up survivors and try to survive together. Just not something we're used to seeing. So he had like, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them, but
Eh, eh.
so it was a bit, but
That
not
to
that
me,
it's a
that to me is
complaint.
fine.
But
So whatever. I don't care.
like, why are they there? What are they doing there? Because we knew that Mace was there from Vader Episode 1.
If it was a whole
So
army, I would have problems with it, but it was only like a few. So it was just like, whatever.
yeah,
A scrappy group of Jedi huddled together, whatever.
yeah, yeah,
The only other thing I want to mention too is Mace himself. It's cool to see his reveal. Here's the thing. I mean, like, he came across as too cold-hearted, don't you think? Or do you think that's
I
appropriate?
thought it was okay. I mean, first we got to say T.C. Carson back as the voice of Mace Windu. That's awesome. He voiced Mace Windu in the Clone Wars and Tales of the Jedi, and
That's cool.
maybe some Lego stuff too. Some of us know him from like the '90s show Living Single, and then he was Kratos, the voice of Kratos in God of War.
I see.
Before Christopher Judge took over more recently. But it's cool that Theory was able to get him on board. But yeah, I mean, I thought I get what you're saying. But it's also that is kind of how Mace Windu would operate. And even more so now, he would be even more aggressive. I would say the only thing that was maybe a little too much was when he snapped the trooper's neck.
Yeah, that was a little over the
that
top.
that was a little like, okay, I don't know about all that, but
Well, even the comments he made to Vader at the end, like,
oh, I thought that was excellent. That's exactly what he would say. That's a Mace Windu line right there for sure.
Yeah, but he was mocking Padme.
Well, he was bringing up Shmi and Padme to taunt Vader. Vader said something. He kind of threw it back. He threw it back in Vader's face because Vader said something about the Jedi, which is his family. So he threw Vader's family, Anakin's family, back at him, and he was talking to Anakin, not Vader.
I don't know. I still don't agree with that. I feel like he should have been a little bit above that. Unless
I liked it. Yeah, I get what you're
we're gonna have to agree to disagree
Yeah.
on this one because, like, I felt like it. I'm not a big prequel fan, just to be absolutely clear. But from what I understand, from Mace Windu, he had more class, from what I can recall in the movies. I don't remember what he was in the show, but in the movies, he had a little bit more class, even while he got thrown out of the window with Anakin there.
Yeah, but he's got him and Anakin have always had their issues, and then when he was starting to basically give Anakin a chance, and Anakin cuts his hand off, and so it's kind of like, so it's personal. It's so I mean, I think it makes sense.
I get it would be personal towards him, but I wouldn't be like, oh, by the way, Anakin, your mama. It's just like that's what it came across, and I'm just like, that's a little too much, man. I don't know.
I think if Vader didn't make the comment about the Jedi, then Windu wouldn't have responded with that, because Vader went low, and so Mace Windu also threw it back at him, and
Vader should have gone lower. Oh yeah, well your mama.
I thought it was a great line. When I heard it, I was like, oh damn. I was like, so yeah, I thought that was fine. And the aggressive nature of Windu, I mean, that's really, I think it's what I would expect. So
but
yeah, it was cool. Yeah, the conclusion of it, the end of it was great.
Say that again.
The conclusion, the end of the episode was awesome. I think I definitely like the second half more than the first half of the episode. But there was a lot of good scenes, like that lightsaber throw to the Jedi Master using the apprentice's lightsaber. That was dope. He's just holding him up there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good attention to detail in the lightsaber fights. So it's choreographed really,
No, everything
the
was good.
team did a great job. Yeah,
Even when Mace came in, like the bolt hole, like that was near his head, he held it, then he threw it
yeah,
back. The
yeah.
trooper,
Blaster bolts.
yes, all that stuff was really well done. The sound design was great. The music, I don't remember the music. I'm sure the music was good. It served the episode.
It was really good. Yeah, they used some original, similar to the original music, and then he actually had a orchestra work on some new content, new
That's
music as
crazy.
well
Yeah.
that he incorporated. Yeah,
So
music was great.
I think for it to blend in seamlessly into the episode where I don't really notice it, I think that's a really good thing, because sometimes when you see or hear certain things that just seem a little off, like that's a little fan servicey, or that's a little off, but everything was on
Yeah,
point in terms of the sound design in general.
yeah, exactly. Even the Palpatine or Emperor's little cameo in it on the holocron or whatever the video conference thingy, and
Yeah,
that was, I'm pretty sure that's Theory's voice because he does a pretty good impression of Palpatine.
yeah,
But
he's done it a few times on the show. Yeah,
yeah, and that line was definitely something that the Emperor would say. So I think he got. I mean, as a big Star Wars fan that he is, as big of a fan he is, I mean, he should have get all that down and mannerisms and how they would talk, and so I think he did a good job. And those details, I think it's very clear that that they paid a lot of attention to it. There was one scene I will say that when Vader is walking in the beginning, there's an angle from the side that in my mind I was like, that looks kind of weird. Like obviously visually looks good, but like Vader was moving too fast, so it like kind of popped in my head. I was like, that doesn't look right. But it's only for a 2 seconds, and because Vader should be moving. Vader moves slow, right? One
yeah,
of the
because
things.
the armor he's wearing, because the
Crippled, and
actual
he's
suit
in
was
his suit.
heavy and bulky, and
Yeah, restrictive, and intentionally too in many ways, and by the Emperor, and
so that's what
so
we're
that
used to
shot
seeing.
has him. Yeah, when he's walking from the front, it looks fine, but that side angle of him walking, like I don't know, his swagger just looked off for a second, but overall, because the animation's so great, it didn't really bother me much. But I did notice that.
Yeah, I know what you're
Uh,
talking about. It's about 5 minutes into it, I think, in the beginning.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
he's speed walking.
yeah, yeah. It's a bit strange, but so, but other than that, yeah. I mean, I don't really have many complaints for it. I think very good effort and very good fan film and quite an improvement to Vader 1, like we mentioned a few minutes ago. So good for him.
Yeah. So, do you want to assign a rating for this?
Man, I didn't even think about that. I wasn't even. It's hard for me to rate a fan film. I'm not used to.
It's like rating anything else. What are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about? It's
You know
like,
what? I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. I
it's
thought it was
good,
really good.
not great. I got my complaints, but overall, it's, in terms of fan films, it's definitely among the best.
Yeah,
Production value wise, storytelling wise, pacing wise, sound design wise, like everything is like upper echelon, top tier. So
yeah,
any complaints I have are just really like narrative and maybe some nitpicky things here and there.
yeah.
But
That's fair.
yeah. But other than that, this is a very good effort, especially for Star Wars.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if I was rating it because it's an overall rating, if it was just like a fan film rating, I'd give it a higher score than that, 8.5, maybe even a 9. But I'm rating it like how I do everything else across the board, so that's where I get the 8.
All right, guys, and that is our review of Vader Episode 2: Echoes of the Jedi. We'll be seeing you all next time.
All righty, take care.